Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the hidden messages in corporate filings. Today we're looking at First Community BankShares Incorporated, or F.C.B.C, to see if they are truly a first-class community bank. This report covers some pretty important corporate happenings for First Community BankShares Incorporated. It is like getting a postcard from the company telling us what they've been up to. So, what is the big news? Well, on the 28th of October of 2025, they put out a press release about their earnings for the third quarter. Think of earnings as how much money a company made or lost during a specific time. It's a pretty big deal for investors to know how the company is performing financially, but that is not all. They also announced something else important that day. It is about dividends. Dividends about basically when a company shares a portion of its profits with its shareholders, the people who own a piece of the company. They're paying out 31 cents for every common share. Now that might not sound like a lot per share, but if you own a lot of shares, it can add up. This dividend is expected to be paid out at the end of November, so shareholders will see that money relatively soon after the announcement. This is often a sign that a company feels confident about its financial health and its ability to continue generating profits. Now let's quickly look at what kind of stocks they have. They talk about common stock, and this is the main type of stock that most people think of. It represents ownership in the company. The symbol they trade under is F.C.B.C. You'll see this ticker symbol if you are looking up the company's stock on exchanges. And where do you find their stock being traded? It is on the Nasdaq Global Select Market, which is a pretty respected stock exchange, indicating a certain level of size and transparency for the company. Now, while this report doesn't contain a big financial table with all the numbers this time, the fact that they are announcing earnings and a dividend is key. The announcement about their third quarter earnings tells us they've had a period of operation and are reporting on how that went. Usually, a press release attached to an 8K filing like this will dive into the revenue, profits, and perhaps some key balance sheet items. The dividend announcement, as mentioned, is a positive signal about their financial stability. It is worth noting that, like many companies, they include a section on what they call forward-looking statements. This is basically a disclaimer. They're saying that some of the things they might say or imply about the future are based on their current beliefs and expectations. But things could change. The world of business is full of surprises, and they're not promising that everything will go exactly as planned. They specifically mention risks and uncertainties like changes in market conditions, challenges in managing their assets and liabilities, and the ever-present risks of credit and interest rates. They aren't going to update these statements if things change after they make them, which is pretty standard practice to protect themselves legally. When we look at First Community BankShares Incorporated F.C.B.C, the announcements here are about routine but important corporate actions. The earnings release is the real meat and potatoes for investors, giving them insight into performance. The dividend shows confidence. Without seeing the actual numbers from the earnings release itself, it is hard to give a deep financial analysis. However, a consistent dividend and a timely earnings report are generally positive signs for a bank. They are communicating with their investors, which is crucial for trust and stability. The biggest risk for any bank is always the economy. If people lose jobs, they might not be able to pay back loans, and if interest rates fall too much. Banks make less money on loans. The forward-looking statement section confirms they are aware of these standard industry risks. In conclusion, based on this filing, First Community BankShares Incorporated F.C.B.C is operating as expected by releasing their quarterly earnings and confirming a dividend payment. This suggests a stable operational environment and confidence from management. For a deeper dive into their financial health, we would really need to see the actual earnings release document. Alright, that is our quick look at this filing from First Community BankShares Incorporated. What is your take on these announcements and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.